The 2025 World Track and Field Championships have finally ended. This 9-day event was an absolute show-stopping competition that brought out many of the world's greatest athletes doing some of the greatest things in the world. We saw Melissa Jefferson Wooden confirm her position as the world's fastest woman. We saw Cindy McLaughlin-Lavrone shock the world with the sub-48 in the 400. And we also have to mention the legend, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce of Jamaica, who at 38 years old made yet another 100 final, and she was also a part of the silver medal Jamaica relay team in the 4x100. She also now has a total of 26 global medals. Legend. These Tokyo World Champs were honestly amazing, and many of the big names and new faces all performed unbelievably well. However, one event that took place on this final day of track and field was easily my personal favorite of this entire competition, and a few key things happened in this race that just might leave you speechless. For this final day, the men's 4x400 meter relay took place, and this event brought some serious talent to the forefront. From the US to Botswana to South Africa, the competition here was fierce, and this 4x4 was set to be a possible race for redemption for Botswana after falling just short of the gold in last year's Olympics. And believe me when I tell you that this race lived up to every single possible expectation. But there was one huge problem, and that was the rain. No joke, this rain was brutal. This rivaled what we saw earlier in the year in Lausanne, Switzerland, when Oblique Seville ran that 100 in waterfall conditions. But regardless of today's circumstances, the race was set to move forward. And even though the rain was definitely slowing down everyone, the results were still unbelievable. For the opening two splits, both Vernon Norwood and Ja'Cory Patterson achieved impressive times from the US, hitting splits of 44.6 and 44.22. Meanwhile, Botswana was right behind the United States, with Lee Epi and Letsile Teboho holding very strong positions in second. At the halfway point of the race, Botswana and the US had about a 2-second lead, and for the final two splits, the race got incredibly close. With just one lap left to run, it was still the United States in the lead, who passed off to Rai Benjamin. However, in hot pursuit, Busang Kebonachiphi from Botswana, the 400-meter gold medalist, was closing. This final 400 was pure adrenaline, and over these final moments, Kebonachiphi actually managed to catch Rai Benjamin, and Botswana took a famous gold medal in 2:57.76. This was incredibly fast, especially given the rainy circumstances, and with a final 400 of 44.14, Kebonachiphi anchored Botswana to a massive victory for the African nation. Now, rounding out the top three included the US in second and South Africa in third, and they actually were both listed with the exact same time of 2:57.83, and I haven't seen any results showing the thousandth of a second, so if you do know what that is, make sure to leave a message down below for us all. This race was pure entertainment for almost 3 minutes, and the presence of the rain made it all the more iconic. However, what happened on the third leg is something that I genuinely could not believe when I first saw it, but upon rewatching this race, it was obvious that history was made from one incredible athlete. For this third leg split, we saw Caleb McRae from the US take the baton first, and then we saw Bayapu Ndori from Botswana take the baton very soon after in second. And crucially, notice the distance here back to South Africa in third place. I would realistically say this is right around 10 meters or so. And given that these third legs from the US and Botswana ran 44.4 and 44.6, this meant that it was very unlikely that South Africa could make up the stagger, again, especially given the presence of the rain. But if you thought this, you would be incredibly wrong, because on this third leg, Wayde van Niekerk, the 400-meter world record holder, took the baton and he absolutely scorched this track. For this 400-meter split, van Niekerk honestly blew my mind. Even though this Category 7 hurricane was present, he ran so fast that he actually ran the fastest split of the day by 0.67 seconds. And remember, the gold medalist in the 400 was present, both Rai Benjamin and Letsile Teboho were present, and considering that Kebonachiphi ran 43.5 in the open 400, meant that he was probably going to run the fastest time of the day, right? Well, no, because for this third leg, Van Niekerk split a time of 43.26 seconds. And to do something like this under these circumstances is honestly and genuinely shocking. Also, and this is something that many have pointed out, but lane 1 was literally flooded. You can even see athletes kicking up water with every stride when running on the inside. And as you can see here, Van Niekerk was in lane 1 for the entire 400, so I honestly don't know how Van Niekerk did this. By the end of his split, he was almost even with Botswana. And remember, Van Niekerk has really struggled over the past couple of seasons. This might sound crazy, but I'm pretty sure that if no rain was present, Van Niekerk was set to run under 43 for this 400 split, which would make him one of only 2 athletes to ever break 43 in the 4x4, and the other athlete was Michael Johnson, who ran a 42.94 back in 1993. Rewatching this performance has given me chills. For years, Van Niekerk was invincible as he broke the world record, set some of the fastest times ever, and was practically untouchable from 2015 through 2017. However, soon after his 2017 world title defense, he suffered a super unfortunate ACL tear, and this more or less took away his primary years from his running career. For quite a while, Van Niekerk just had not been able to regain his previous form. He ran decent in 2021, he had a few solid years afterwards, but he still wasn't quite able to break 44 in the Open 400. But this legendary 4x400 split in the rain at the World Champs is honestly one of my favorite moments, not just in these World Championships, but in the entire 2025 season. Now, last year in the Atlanta City Games, I actually had the unique opportunity to interview Van Niekerk before the Olympics arrived. And for my specific question, I asked him about running momentum and how he finds balance in his racing.
So important for me to continue using that positives. I think if I have to balance out the ratio, I'm leaning way more into things that's going my way positively than negatively. So I think I'm going into a very good direction to where I'd like to be and competing again. So it's really at the moment now about just mentally getting myself in a place and a position to enjoy myself again and be hungry again and put myself in a position to put out those good performances again, because we all know that when I am healthy and I'm capable, I can win races. So it's really just about getting that momentum, and hopefully I can get myself back to where I know I belong to be.
You know, hearing this and now seeing what he just did in the 4x4 brings a huge smile to my face. Van Niekerk was right. When he gets all of his racing right and puts all of the pieces together, he really knows how to throw down. This single performance in the 4x4, to me, proves that Van Niekerk is completely back. I really do hope that he stays fit and healthy for the next couple of seasons, because if he can do this in the rain, just imagine what he can do under normal conditions. Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time.